what's some of your testimonies, man? How was it growing up for you, and how you got involved into ministry?
Yeah, so again, my name is Bert Knapp, and I'm the founder of Thuggin to Love and Ministries. And growing up in my life, I grew up in a world that was void of Christ. Jesus was not talked about in my home. Yeah, my mom and dad were separated; they were not together. At my mom's house, there was a lot of violence. She was being beaten, abused by her boyfriends, and there was a lot of drugs, but the drugs were in the room. But at my dad's house, people were waking up with spoons stuck to their face from shooting heroin and other things. And when they would get overdosed, they would just get hit with cold water. And if that didn't work, they'd throw them in the trash. And I know this sounds crazy in Des Moines. In my life, it was crazy growing up. My grandma was my mom and dad. She was my representation of Jesus Christ on the earth. She was a Christian, but she was on ADC, which is government assistance, and she was unhealthy, but she loved me. And she would cook me meals all the time, and that's how she would show her love. And in that, I would eat every time the abuses were going on at the houses. I would eat. So eventually, I got real overweight, and even had to have a liposuction as a kid. She was my Jesus. She was my rock. Yep, she was my rock, and love my mom, love my dad. My dad's passed away now, killed in 2014. Accidental. Him and my brother got into it, ruptured his spleen. I ended up pulling the plug on my pops. And in that, I want to be raw and real, because when we can reveal stuff, we can heal stuff. And I know there's other individuals out there who are going to be going through the things that I've gone through, or have gone through the things that I've gone through, that maybe are not in a place yet where they can, they're willing to expose what has happened to them because of fear and judgment and condemnation and the voices of the enemy or what this person may think. But I was molested from 5 to 12 and forced into homosexual acts. I watched my mom get about 2,000 stitches and staples beaten into her. Again, I've seen people shot, stabbed, overdosed, and thrown to dumpsters. At 14 years old, I started shooting methamphetamine and gangbanging, and I was doing the shooting and the stabbing and crazy stuff, and which ended me up in prison. I ended up going to prison for an attempt to murder, arson first, and a willful injury. I set someone on fire, and that's where I had an encounter with a real encounter with Jesus in 2018, or when I was 18, I had an encounter with Jesus where he was in a jail cell. But the Bible says that God takes the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and the weak to confound the strong. And it's only by God's mercy and grace that we're here today, as you know, brother. And this is my beautiful fiance, soon to be wife, on September 27th.
Let's
So
go.
you all be praying for us, please.
Yes.